Lisa Campion here, and I'm so happy to be with you again today. Today we're going to talk about how we use a pendulum to learn how to trust our psychic hit. So this happens a lot to people when they're studying psychic development. They get a hit. Like, let's say you're sleeping at night and you feel the presence of a spirit in your room at night, and you think, I think it's Uncle Fred who just died, but maybe it's not. Like, we think that, and our first impression is often what's really true. And then we kind of can fall down the rabbit hole of doubt. What if it isn't? What if I just made that up? What if I'm crazy? What if it's a bad spirit? What if we just lose our ability to tell if it's real or not. And this is where using a pendulum can really help us, give us solid confirmation in the moment to confirm or deny a psychic hit. So I'm going to teach you how to do that right now. So pendulums are really beautiful ways to do this. And a pendulum is a divination tool that it's made from many things. You can go to New Age stores, you can find them online, and most people get pendulums that are made out of crystal. But I really like this one. It's made out of brass. So it's a heavy metal one. It's got a short chain, and you can buy a fancy one. You can use a necklace that you have. Like, you can use, I've heard of people that use a safety pin on a piece of string. It can be very simple. It doesn't have to be expensive or big. But I like these heavy metal ones because I feel like they're just more accurate. Sometimes the crystal ones have a little too much of their own personality. They can be a little bit tricky to read. So, but get whatever ones you like. And it should be fun. So find one that resonates with you. And if you're in a store where you can pick it up and use it, then pick it up and ask it to tell you, like, are you the pendulum for me, and see what happens, right? So that's a good way to confirm if you're getting the right pendulum. So after you get your pendulum, you definitely want to clear it and attune it. And that just means, especially if it's made out of crystal, it might have absorbed the energy of the other people who handled it, the energy of the store it was in. We don't know where it's been since it got into your hands. And metal ones too, they're less likely to pick up stray energy, but you never know. So when you get it home, you definitely want to clear it. That means you can run some sage smoke through it. You can put it in a bowl of salt. You can put it in the sun on a windowsill. You can, if you know Reiki, you can give it some Reiki and do some Reiki symbols. If you know Reiki, the symbol Chokurei is very good for clearing it. You can just use your intention, sort of press it between your hands and ask that it be cleared right now. Once it's cleared, you kind of want to attune it to your own energy, because it works really well if it's resonating with your own frequency. And that you could sleep with it under your pillow, you could carry it in your pocket for a little bit to get it resonating and attuned to your own energy. Now, once you've done all those things, the next thing to do is to find a yes, no, I don't know answer. So the point of the pendulum is to really quickly receive yes, no, I don't know. And this is how we do it. So I think it's really good if you put your elbow on a table, have something to rest your elbow in. You want to have your fingers, your forefinger and your thumb grasping on, I like a short chain. So if I have a lot of chain, I'm going to curl that chain up in the palm of my hands, just because you get a quicker answer with a short chain. And I'm going to ask the pendulum to show me, and you can see it's kind of vibrating a little bit. It's starting to read energy. Show me yes. And it's going round and round in a clockwise circle. This is always how it's been for me for like the past 20 years. And then I'm going to stop it and I'll say, show me no. And for me, the no is a straight line. And then I'm going to ask it to show me I don't know, because sometimes it doesn't know. So you can see it's vibrating, but it's not moving anywhere. Okay. So that's yes, no, I don't know. And then you can test it by saying, is my name Lisa? Yes. So it's going around. Is my name Fred? Right. And if you have a doubt, So that's a good yes, no. If you have a doubt that you're making it up, like if you think I'm just looking at it and making that up with my mind, I know my name's Lisa, so I'm making it swing. Then one thing you can try to do is close your eyes. So you set up the question, and let's say we go back to, was that Uncle Fred who walked through my room last night? Then you set yourself up, elbow on the table, wrist relaxed, fingers around it. And then you close your eyes and you wait until you start feeling the pendulum move. Then you open your eyes to see what it's doing. And if you close your eyes, you're kind of taking your brain, your own mind out of the equation. You're not like, move, pendulum, and kind of making it happen. So that's a really good way to do that. And you can go through this yes, show me no, I don't know process every time you use your pendulum. Lots of people do that. However, mine has been consistent for, like I said, the past 20 years. So I hardly ever really actually look into that. I just know that it's, I just know that's what it's going to be. So, well, how does a pendulum work? Let's talk about that for a minute. It works in a few different ways. So it definitely is reading the energy that's around it. So picking up energy so that our own inner guidance comes through it. It's in your energy field. So it's kind of reading your own energy field. That's really good to do. And that's a process called dowsing. So a pendulum is one kind of dowsing tool. And if you don't like a pendulum, some people love them. I happen to love them, but other people just never can seem to get it to work for you, in which case try a different dowsing mechanism. Dowsing rods. They're usually copper L-shaped rods that are inside a little case that makes them, like, you hold on to these little tubes, the pendulum's in the tube, and then they move around. They're really fun and they're bigger. Some people love them. Some people use muscle testing to do this kind of dowsing. There's a lot, finger muscle testing. There's a lot of different ways you can do muscle testing, but all of those things are called dowsing, and they're really handy to add them to your repertoire if you're doing a lot of psychic work. So also our guides will use them too. So if you're connecting with your spirit guides, with your angels, they will also use these dowsing tools to speak to you directly. So it's either reading the energy of the space that you're in, reading your own energy field, reading your higher self, and reading your spirit guides. And it's quite interesting actually to ask your pendulum, like, is this me? Is this the energy that I'm feeling? Is it my higher self? You can ask your pendulum to tell you. Now, the most tricky thing where people get hung up on the pendulum and where it can go kind of wonky is that it really is only about yes or no questions. Well, we have yes, no, I don't know. And it's difficult to break down our complex human lives into these yes, no, binary, black, white kind of questions. And that's really the downfall of the pendulum in a way. And the trick to using it is learning how to ask really accurate questions. So if you say to your pendulum, was that Uncle Fred or something else? Your pendulum can't, that's a compound question. So it's really two questions into one, and the pendulum's going to be like, which, what? What? Yes, no, like it might be, yes, it was Uncle Fred. No, it wasn't something else. So we need to, like, one question at a time. And the more you can sort of boil down, specifically getting really granular on what your question is, what was that Uncle Fred is a pretty clear yes, no answer. But if you're going to ask it something like, is so-and-so my soulmate? Or, that's a problem, because that sort of soulmate question is so complicated and we have so much baggage load into it. Maybe that person is your soulmate. Does it mean that you're going to have a successful relationship? Not always. That's a conversation for another YouTube video for sure. We can talk about that some other time, but and I kind of remember like doing that when I was a kid, younger, and I'm like, is so-and-so gonna ask me out on a date, or so-and-so my soulmate? Well, that's too complex. There's so many factors that lie into that it's really hard to get a good read. So we're going to ask small, granular questions we know we can. And I really am in favor of using this tool primarily to read energy. So if you're an energy worker, it's great to add these into your energy medicine practice, into your Reiki practice. It'll show you exactly what's going on with the chakra, which is super cool. And answer really pointed questions that are going to give you immediate confirmation on your psychic hits. We run into trouble when we give our power away to these divination tools. So I've seen it happen a lot, and I've done it myself back in the day, where you're like, should I wear the red shirt or the blue shirt? Should I have pizza for dinner or Chinese? Like, we don't want to give the power, this beautiful, precious, amazing power of our free will, over to something that's outside of ourselves. So hold on to your free will, be the captain of your life and make your own decisions, and use this tool mostly to confirm or deny your psychic hits so you can learn how to trust them in the moment. That's where it's really beautiful and valuable. Anyway, I hope that helps. I hope you loop this into your psychic practice, because it's going to make a big difference.